remove the wheel, use a 19mm socket. Take the wheel off. We'll take these two caliper bolts out. I'm going to use a 14mm socket. I'm just going to use some pliers on the caliper slide so that it doesn't spin. Loosen that up. And we'll do the same on the top. And grab the caliper. I'm just going to use a caliper hanger. Slide this on here. Find somewhere to hang it from. You could hang it from the control arm or the coil spring. Just make sure there's no tension on the hose. Just take the brake pads off. Take these two bolts out for the caliper bracket. I'm going to use a 17mm socket. And slide the bracket off. Now I'm going to take this screw out. You might have one right there as well. This vehicle only has it here. Use a Phillips head screwdriver. Loosen it up. If you can't get it off, just loosening it up like this, you may need an impact driver. There we go. Take that screw out. Okay, slide the rotor off. Now you want to clean up any rust that's on this hub surface. Just use a wire brush, or you can use a air grinder or electric grinder. Just use a little brake parts cleaner, clean this up a little bit. Just going to take a little bit of anti-seize, just put it around this hub area. Just put a thin coat, just so it doesn't corrode in the future. I'm just going to take the new rotor, just install it backwards, take some brake parts cleaner. You just want to clean this surface area. There is a coating on here to prevent rust. And flip it over the right way. Make sure you line up the holes for the screws. It's going to go this way. And we'll do the same on this side. And take this screw, line up the rotor. The screw in. If you have another screw, put the bottom screw in as well. And just snug this up a little bit, not too tight. All right, now we're going to clean up the brake caliper bracket. We're going to reuse the caliper pad slide clips or the anti-rattle clips. Just use a wire brush, clean these up. If you have new ones, then you don't have to do this step. Now I'll take a little pocket screwdriver, just take these clips off. Set them aside and clean underneath the clips. Get any of that rust off, anything built up. Spray a little brake parts cleaner on there. Wipe them down. Take a little brake caliper grease, just a nice thin coat. Same on this side. And we can put the pad slides on. And do a nice thin coat right here. Same on this side. Now we'll take the caliper slide pins out. Slide these out. Use a little brake parts cleaner on this. And wipe it down. And you can spray a little in here as well. And if you have a brush to go in there, you can use a brush, or just take a rag. Try to clean this out the best you can. Take a little brake caliper grease, grease up the pin. Reinstall it, make sure it seals on this boot. And do the same on this side. Take the brake caliper bracket, slide it over the rotor. And take the bolts, Get the bolts lined up. Get those started. Now I'm going to torque these bolts to 80 foot-pounds. All right, we'll take these brake pads. The brake pad with the squealer is going to go on the inside. And this one's going to go on the outside. And that looks good. Grab the brake caliper and take it off the hanger. Now this piston has a little bit of dirt on it and grease, and just wipe that away. Just make sure the boot isn't ripped and it looks good. Take one of the old brake pads and take a brake caliper compressing tool. Now you want to slowly compress the brake caliper. That's going to push the piston back in, push the brake fluid through the hose, through the lines, back into the master cylinder and the reservoir. Just go slow. That's fully compressed. Take the tool off, take the old brake pad off, and line the caliper up. Take the two bolts, get those started. Now I'm going to use some pliers to hold the pin from spinning and torque the bolt to 25 foot-pounds. The same on the bottom one. After you're done, you want to make sure you pump up the brake pedal. There's going to be an air gap between the piston caliper and the brake pad. So take up that air gap, make sure the pedal feels good. Make sure you check your brake fluid level and adjust accordingly. And throw the wheel back on. Install the lug nuts. Now I'm going to torque these lug nuts to 80 foot-pounds in a star pattern. That way the wheel gets tightened down evenly. And I'll just go around again, double check.